you have to spend all the money in the party fund.
Which is why the Department of Defense spent $4.6 million on crab and lobster and a $9,000 chair in the last-minute spending spree.
Free Talk Live.
Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, yeah, let them eat lobster. The reason this should matter to anybody listening, if anybody out there pays any federal income tax, New Mexico was just rated number one in the nation for the amount of federal tax dollars they receive out of the 50 states. And I collect these stats as I hear them, and that equates to 30-some% of New Mexico's public spending. 30-some%, like a third of New Mexico's public spending, comes from federal tax dollars from everybody, from all the other 49 states.
Don't you wish they just wrote you a check for that money
instead of taking it from me and giving it to you?
I would like that. The newly elected governor, one of the stats there, or several of the stats, she just raised her governor's office budget 30-some%, like 32 to 38%, somewhere in there. Increasing it, I forget what the actual number is. It's now $72,000 a year. Remember, this is a small state. The state's budget is $7 billion a year, and it's many times that in larger states, larger population states. But some of that money she spent the day after her inauguration. She took all of her staff and family and friends and spent $3,600 on a brunch. The day after the inauguration.
Was this taxpayer dollars?
Yeah. This is from the $72,000 annual party fund.
Sweet.
You
could throw a hell of a party for $72,000.
Yeah. Well, theoretically, it's used to entertain dignitaries from outside the state in order to wine them, dine them, try to get their.
Why
their
do these
business.
people need to be wined and dined?
They're dignitaries.
They're politicians and. They're politicians, and they've been doing it forever. They tax the people and spend it on themselves. That's how it works.
Hey, just to be fair, and to add a little bit of perspective, most states budget in a use it or lose it fashion, like our federal government does. If X number of dollars are budgeted, you've got to spend all your dollars. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same amount next year.
So if you have a party fund, you have to spend all the money in the party fund.
Which is why the Department of Defense spent $4.6 million on crab and lobster and a $9,000 chair in the last-minute spending spree. I'm wondering what a $9,000 chair feels.
I bet it's pretty
Ian,
sweet.
if you could get me one in here for next Thursday night, I would really appreciate
I'll
that.
get right on it.
Thank you.
Well, her spending did also include some. She went to a tin shop that sells tin ornamental stuff, craft stuff, and bought $700 worth of various things like soap dishes and such like that for whichever purpose. And
to hold your soap, Dave.
And lobster. Somebody went to the grocery store. They went to Whole Foods, it was Sprouts, and they got the $100 worth of groceries that included 4 lobster tails.
Maybe it was a door prize.
Tells you that pardon?
A door prize. We had a big event, so we're going to have a door prize. We're going to take you grocery shopping.
There you go. So somebody had a dinner. Obviously, if you buy 4 lobster tails, there must have been a dinner for 4 people. And so I can't imagine what that would have been, but it sounds like something private and buying lobster with the taxpayers' money. But anyway, also
it's good to be in the gang, isn't it?
Right?
It is. When you guys buy gasoline, any kind of liquid fossil fuel, once again, New Mexico has been number 3 producer state in the U.S. for quite a while, and they're about to edge out North Dakota and be number 2. And New Mexico takes approximately 20% surcharge right off the top of crude and oil and gas that comes out of the ground. And so then that goes to the refinery, and then you buy it to put in your car all over America. And so whatever your price at the pump is bumped up approximately 10%, probably based on the taxes that New Mexico's taken off of that. So that's another way New Mexico is
Yeah,
taking your money all over.
I will say, in a sense, good for New Mexico because they're getting more money from D.C. than they are sending to D.C., and that is
when you
really
say they,
rare.
you mean the state government. The people don't see that unless they're welfare queens.
Well, unless you're getting the only thing you can do is say that you're getting some of the money back that was stolen from you.
But you're not if the checks are being written to the government, unless you are in the government, and you're probably not.
Well, the thing is, mathematically, the way it works out is anybody has a right to take welfare because government takes from each of us our priceless liberty and owes to each of us an infinite debt. So anything that you can pry out of government is yours by right.
Right. But to Ian's point,
don't give money to government because that is bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. Hold on. I'm not saying you're wrong if you're taking welfare from the government as a libertarian. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I don't want to do it personally because, then they just get more invasive in your life.
Right.
But ultimately, I agree with you, Rich. If you want to milk them for whatever you can get out of them, I say God bless you. But, when you talk about the states getting money from the federal government, it's the states. It's not like it's raining in the streets.
Right.
Cash is coming down. And just grab as much as you can.
What I could say is that
then also go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one could say that in some examples that you are offsetting costs that would have been taxed again if the state had not got more money back from the federal government. It would be convoluted. It would absolutely be probably impossible to determine what that is. But if a state costs $100 million to run their schools and they're going to raise all that through taxation, I would rather see them get the money back from the federal government and not tax me yet again, which is what their natural reaction is going to be.
Free Talk Live. Listen live 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern or grab the podcast. It's all at freetalklive.com.